Good afternoon. And thank you for joining us on this special day. Today, we are honoring 51 young men and women in the 137th annual high school commencement ceremony. Our graduates have completed a challenging journey engaged in a rigorous curriculum, and today is a culmination of much hard work and sacrifice. I'd like to take just a minute to thank the many people that have helped put today's program together. This year's proved challenging once again because of some strange circumstances we're all well aware of that don't need discussed. So a lot of people really stepped up and helped us put this together. Special thanks to the Superintendent, Dr. Martin Miller, members of the Board of Education, Senior Class Advisor Wade Sisson, High School Guidance Counselor Diana Hammer, High School Secretary Amber Lucas, Director of Operations Andy Messman and his staff, Light and Sound Man Sam Smith, IT Director Harold Gocke, Photographer Bryce Stein, Antwerp High School Band Director Andrea Newell and the Archer Band, Media Specialist Kayla Bagley, Mrs. Gurley for helping us with the tickets, and a special thank you today for my sports for streaming today's special day for those that don't have an opportunity to join us in person. So we thank them for being here as well. As we begin the processional, you are going to see some of our graduates wearing a variety of items in different colors. Allow me to identify what each of these represents. Students that have earned an honors diploma will be wearing a gold cord. Members of our Antwerp High School chapter of the National Honor Society will be wearing a gold stole and tassel. National Technical Honor Society members are denoted by their white tassel and their purple and white cord. Quill and Squirrel members are wearing blue and yellow cords. And finally, those students that are committed to a branch of the United States Armed Forces will be wearing a red, white, and blue cord. Speaking of the Armed Forces, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize our veterans and current members of the armed services who have joined us today. We live in the greatest country in the world and enjoy freedoms like no other because of the sacrifice of our service members. If you have served in or are currently enlisted in a branch of armed service, I ask that you please stand at this time to be recognized. We will now honor our great country with the playing of our national anthem. And now our junior marshals will lead our class of 2021 in for the procession. For the procession. Okay, this time, Dylan Hines, student council member, will deliver today's welcome. Good afternoon, Ocean Nation. Welcome to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2021. Thank you for coming out during all the uncertain circumstances and supporting us as we move into the next phase of our lives. Collectively, we would like to thank our parents and families, our teachers, administration, and the Antwerp community for all their time and effort they have put into making our high school journeys the best they could possibly be. Anything you all have done for us is greatly appreciated. I will now introduce Vice President Hawley, who will be presenting our class history.
Well, class of 2021, we made it. Who would have ever thought that when we started school here 14 years ago that we would form so many memories that would last a lifetime? So today, I'd like to reflect back on some of those memories over the past 14 years. I still remember the first time we logged into our school computer account sometime in kindergarten or first grade, saw the 21 in front of our names and thought, wow, 2021, that seems like forever ago. Well, forever is finally here. In the first grade, Dylan Hines came to Antwerp for the first time, and he started off his career at Antwerp by telling Mrs. Brooks that he didn't have to take his STAR test because I don't think my uncle would make him do that. This was also the year that Macy broke her arm on the monkey bars, which led to only third grade not being able to use them, so thanks for that, Macy. Second grade came along, and that started my long history of disciplinary issues in elementary and middle school, when I got suspended for allegedly giving Gannon a swirly, but I'd just like to add that Gannon's head wasn't even wet when he told the teacher, so still a little salty for that, Mr. Reese, but I forgave you. As we grew up and moved to the B wing in the third grade, we gained our future class president and co-valedictorian, Madison. This was also the year that I got someone else in trouble when I tattled on Logan for saying the S word, and Logan will never let me forget and brings it up nearly every day. Fourth grade came, and Landon came back to Antwerp after leaving in the first grade, and we gained Haley Craig and Zach Walker. This was the year that we all got to participate in a real musical together as Pirates, starring Riley Brooks and Malcolm. During this year, we had plastic bottles of milk for lunch, and all the girls made sure to save their bottle caps because Molly decided that she would pick her friends for the day by picking a random colored cap, and whoever had that color could be her friend. In the fifth grade, we gained Gage Parton and had intense competitions in his class during for spelling games for jelly pictures. Fifth grade was also the beginning of the endless saga of Olivia versus her own hit when she broke it walking downhill at Evan's birthday party. We finally made it to middle school and had to deal with the intense struggle of having to make it to our lockers, figure out the combination, and get back to class in 3 minutes because we no longer had a teacher to walk us everywhere we went. In the sixth grade, I annoyed Mr. Peasy so bad that he had to put a detention slip on my desk every day just to get me to shut up. We also started spelling bees, and during the sixth grade one, Kathryn Oberlin was eliminated on the word circle because she spelled it S-I-R-C-L-E. We also gained Katie Lang that year. In the seventh grade, we gained Alana Zach and Ryan Longer. This was also the year that one day before Mrs. Ray's class, Austin decided to hide in a box while Mrs. Reyes was out of the room, and after the bell rang, he popped up to scare her and had to go down to the office to notify them that he was actually there for the day because Mrs. Reyes had already counted him absent. Eighth grade came, we were finally the big dogs in the sea and getting to do cool things like the bottle rockets in Mr. Temple's class and go on the DC trip. This was a very eventful trip, starting off with the timeless theme song, Welcome to Washington, D.C. The girls' bus would watch that music video every day and still sing it to this day. Once we got there, this trip was also filled with other memorable moments, such as what has been dubbed Lydia's Bloody Massacre, when she cut the back of her leg shaving so bad that she got blood everywhere. Or when Madison forgot it was her dad's birthday and didn't realize it until some of the other parents got the waiter to bring out ice cream at the Hard Rock Cafe, which she then ate. Or when I almost got us all kicked out of medieval times for doing the wave and allegedly scaring a horse. Then came high school, and we were right back down to the bottom of the totem pole. We gained Kate and Reed at the beginning of 9th grade. Freshman year is often intimidating for most people, and a large part of that can be attributed to Mr. Chuck. We had our first real high school projects with the poetry packet and commercial project. He can definitely be more intimidating for some than others though, like when Mallory grew up during the state test. This was also Mr. Lichty's first year back in Antwerp, and let's just say he had a lot to deal with. Most of it didn't come from our class, so. There was, however, one famous incident that comes to mind, the Cheez-It trial. Now this all started when one day in art class, Eli's Cheez-It suddenly went missing. The natural assumption was that Logan did it because let's just say Eli and Logan had a fair share of money throughout the years. But what proceeded was a long process in which nearly everyone in that art class was called down to Mr. Lichty's office to give their testimony as to what happened, complete with a sketch of the art room layout done by Mr. Lichty himself. Logan eventually had to take the fall for it, but he still maintains his innocence to this day. Sophomore year, we gained Tim Bully and Logan Castillo. Sophomore year started the process of everybody getting their licenses, and some of us being more successful drivers than others. Just to show you the driving skill of this class, by a show of hands, how many of us have been pulled over? And you can put your hands down if this doesn't apply to you, but how many have been pulled over more than once? And how many have gotten a ticket? I just included that last part to brag because I've been pulled over 4 times and haven't gotten a ticket once. This was also the year that Dan acquired one on the Disney trip where Mallory continued her long history of growing up and doing so on the bus this time. Sophomore year also included the game of Layman Bingo, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Mr. Layman, I would once again like to apologize for. This was also a great year for our athletes as our cheer team placed second at state, the baseball team went to the Final Four, and our softball team won the Ohio State Championship for 2019. Start off junior year. By another show of hands, how many of you have led the Hines Police Department on a low-speed chase? Yeah, I think that one's just Dylan O.J. Hines, because who had the bright idea to pull right in front of the Defiance police officer in a roundabout. Junior year was the year that about half of our class left Antwerp to start their vocational education at Boesch, and Kathryn Oberlin left for a one-year exchange in Germany. Junior year was another great year for sports when our cheer team placed third at state and the basketball team made it all the way to the regional finals. And of course, you can't talk about junior year without bringing up the coronavirus pandemic. In mid-March, we were told that we would just be going home to quarantine for 2 weeks, but then 2 weeks turned into 2 months where pretty much everything was canceled. Our spring sports teams never got to compete, we never had a junior prom, and our production musics, those were all canceled. However, we bounced back better than ever for our senior year, even though it may not have been how we expected it to be, with all the masks, social distancing, block schedule, and lunch cubicles. Katie came back from Germany. We gained Dennis, even though he was barely here. And Rihanna Kieser also moved back to Antwerp after the hiatus in Sis Elementary School. We saw some more athletic success in the fall, with the football team winning a playoff game for the first time in 20 years. The cheer team competed in state again, placing second and finally getting home game, something they had been trying to accomplish for a long time as well. Another highlight of senior year was in communications class when Madison's timeless catchphrase was born.
Party scene, woo!
Which, if you know Madison, you know that she's about the last person you would expect to find in the party scene, which makes it even more iconic. At the end of March, we got to go on our senior trip to Chicago and sleepwalk all over the city trying to keep up with Mr. Sisson. We met some very interesting people on the street, most significantly Johnny, who made sure to remind us that ugly homeless people need help too. Also, at some point, there was a text in the group chat saying that they saw someone get stabbed where we were supposed to meet, which kind of freaked us all out. That is except for Sisson, who just responded in the group chat with But I think we're all pretty sure that never happened anyways. What did happen, however, was when me, Logan, and Patrick were trying to walk to the Disney store and almost got mugged by these 3 guys, and when Morgan saw us through the window of the store she was in and pointing this out to Maddie and Katie, they completely ignored us, so thanks for looking out for us. Then we finally got our senior prom that we've been looking forward to even more due to us missing last year's. This was not without complications for some people, though, as Logan split his tooth and sprained his wrist playing basketball right over there, and Hunter flipped a moped and broke his ankle. The senior class did go out with a bang with our senior prank when we hid 1,200 of these tiny plastic babies all around the school. Some may or may not have ended up in Mr. Sisson's fish tank, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry, Mr. Sisson. And that's it. 14 years of memories in this very building. We all grew up right here on Harmon Road, and we're all going to leave here today on our way toward bigger and better things. But I hope that these memories will always stick with you. While today will most likely be our last day all together, the bond that we created over these last 14 years will last a lifetime. I love you all. Thank you. Introduce the Board of Education and Administration of Antwerp Local Schools.
The class of 2021 would like to recognize the Antwerp Local School District Board of Education members represented from Vantage Career Center and High School Administration. Mrs. Sarah Schutte, President. Mrs. Jamie Landers, Vice President. Mr. Robert Herbert, Board Member. Mr. Dennis Recker, Board Member. Mrs. Anita Bach, Board Member. Mrs. Christine Stewart, Treasurer. Mrs. Laura Peters, Treasurer, Advantage Career Center. Dr. Martin Miller, Superintendent. And Mr. Travis Lacey, Principal. I would now like to introduce Kathryn Oberlin, co-valedictorian, to give her honors address.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I think it's safe to say that you're all here because you made an impact on someone sitting behind me or with myself, and I'd like to give a shout out to all of our support systems, family, friends, and staff alike. It's an honor to be able to represent my class here today, and I wanted to say that I love these guys, and it's surreal to be standing up here wearing this and giving this speech to all of you. I have gained a lot of knowledge, learned a lot here in this building, and I've made my fair share of observations. In academics, for example, I have noticed that students, they try to score as close as possible to 100, no deductions. In athletics, athletes, they work to perform their best within a given set of rules. And in music, players attempt to avoid playing incorrect rhythms and attitude notes. The motivation behind all of these goals is the concept of striving for perfection. Perfection can be motivating, but I think it can also be something that's dangerous. During my junior year of high school, as many of you know, I was an exchange student in Germany with Rotary, who I would like to thank, because Rotary is an organization that opened a lot of doors for me in my life, and I'm forever grateful that I was able to have that opportunity. Living in Germany forced me to face a variety of obstacles, including one that confronted me daily, which was learning the German language. I wanted to be able to speak German so I could understand everyone and talk and make friends and make experiences. And I worked hard last year, poured everything I had into asking people how I could say something better, practicing and making corrections to what I'd already known. And by the end of the year, I was fluent, but I still wasn't happy with how far I'd come. I wanted to be able to speak perfectly. I wanted to be able to say all the articles correctly. I wanted the Germans to think that I wasn't from the United States, and I was very critical of myself because I wanted to speak perfectly. But if I would have taken a step back and refrained, I would have been able to recognize sooner that I had come really far from when I got off the plane in August, from not being able to even say my name is Kate in German. And even if my German wasn't perfect, it was pretty good and it had been improved. And so in that situation, perfection was something that motivated me to succeed, but it acted as a blockade to accepting what I had accomplished. For some people, though, striving for perfection is the driving force of success. Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani girl who was was shot in the face by the Taliban in 2015, or she had a girl who was really passionate about education. She tried to perform perfectly in every subject in school, on her exams, in speaking, and she even demanded Pakistan to be better, to strive to be more of an idea of perfection. And this demand that she had for herself is what allowed her to be so studious, it's what allowed her to succeed politically and also in her education, but it's also what caused her to fight for her life in a hospital bed. And eventually, it's what led her to create a foundation that helps provide education to girls worldwide. And so striving for perfection is what motivated Malala to fulfill her goals and to demand more out of society and out of herself. Perfection is subjective, and it's something that applies to everything: academics, athletics, music, cultures, and religions. The concept of perfection is not foreign to anyone, anywhere. I think any person in the world can identify what it means for something to be perfect. And to me, it's not the fact that perfection gets us somewhere, that it leads to a destination. I would argue that perfection does not exist. Perfection is the idea that helps us, when we strive for perfection, it helps us to experience life and it helps us to persevere. If we're striving for perfection, we're always putting our best effort in, which is what turns whatever you're doing, whether that be school, work, or just being with others, into a journey. Perfection is reaching the top of the mountain, but the point is not to reach the top, it's to learn from the journey. Striving for perfection is motivating, as we can see in school, in people who are trying to make in society, but it's motivating because of what we experience along the way. It's not about how fast we get there, it's not about what's waiting on the other side. As one of our childhood legends would have it, Miley Cyrus says it's the climb. Perfection, it doesn't mean success, but it means to push ourselves and to think about where we want to be and how we want to succeed. And that's what will create experiences in our life that will make us feel fulfilled. I would now like to introduce Madison Ruen, co-valedictorian, for her honors address.
Thank you all for joining us in person and online to celebrate the great accomplishments of the class of 2021. Your support throughout our journey is appreciated, and we could have not done it without the support of various members of the community behind us and our teachers. I would like to give a special thank you to my family, especially my parents and family members, blood relation or not, that supported me and my classmates every step of the way. I would also like to thank my classmates for their support. I would not have made it through high school without the growing, loving, annoying, laughing, stressing, and supporting between us. We became a group of people that understood each other's pain. As we exit the halls of Antwerp High School, make sure to find your new group of people. We will always be here in your past and your present if you so choose, but as we branch out, a new support system will be needed. We are going to encounter extreme failures and lows and extreme highs and successes. From what I've learned from Antwerp High School, life is a roller coaster, and I've heard it only gets worse. We will be riding the steel dungeons instead of the iron dragon. However, while you are aiming for your goals, remember that everyone's version of success is different. Your success may be having a family, while the person next to you might find success as traveling the world, owning their own business, running for a political office, or simply getting out of bed every day. Decide what will make your life worthwhile and go for it, with all that you can. Do not worry about what others think about your goals and life choices if what you're doing is making you happy. This new roller coaster we're getting on is why we need to find a new group of people. No matter what you tell yourself, you will need a support system to help you through your struggles. Find the people that understand what you're going through. That group can be family, old friends, or new friends. This bond created and struggles endured will allow successes even more sweet. One of my favorite things to say is that the harder the struggle is, the better the outcome will feel. Graduating right now works feel quite as good without the late night study, the stress with all of you, the hours upon hours in the classroom, or the crying just because human nature can be stressful. Nevertheless, we made it. And now that we have, take the time and feel the joy. This is the joy I hope you feel when you reach the next goal in life. And as we are doing now, celebrate with those you love and who love you. I know I would not want to be celebrated with anybody else. Capture the feeling of success and use it to drive you even farther in life. Your group of people, the ones you love, remember to thank them and be there for them. I have learned that a person's true presence and actions mean much more than the words "I love you." Express your gratitude by being there for them. When they need you, like they're there for you. Everyone may have a different version of success in life, of a life worth living. But the one thing in common is that we all need people. Do not neglect the people that are there for you. Life would not be the same without them, so remember to love them. I apologize if I did not show enough appreciation for you all in the past. I can't imagine what it would be like not having you all by my side through school. I hope I was able to help you as much as you were able to help me. So for when I neglect saying it, thank you, class of 2021. We made it. I wish you the absolute best of luck in the future. And now Mr. Lichty will be certifying the class of 2021.
Thanks, Madison. Great job, ladies. Before I certify the class, I think when you deal with some things like swirlies and Cheez-Its candles and things like that, you're in the right to say a few things before we get out of here. So we've gathered here today, both in person and virtually, to honor these graduates. Naturally, the commencement ceremony has a feeling of finality. This is the end of a very important chapter in the lives of these students. This school and all the activities and responsibilities related to being a student here have occupied a large portion of their time these past 4 years. But despite this finality, these young men and women now stand poised at the starting line of their adult lives, and each of them are about to embark on their own unique journey. Regardless of the challenges that lie in front of them, the time, effort, experiences of their years here have prepared them for whatever dreams they want to chase. I'd also like to take a moment. I think it's important that we thank the families of these graduates here today. It's a privilege working with these students, these outstanding kids that come to us from our community. Our students are a reflection of their upbringing, and I know I speak for my entire staff when I say thank you. Seniors, make sure you take some time today and thank your families for their support and their sacrifice to get you to this point today. I would also like to thank the faculty and staff that I am fortunate enough to work with every day, the teaching staff, the classroom aides, the transportation and kitchen staff, the custodial and maintenance staff, the office staff, the board and the administration play critical roles in providing a safe and positive educational experience for our students. And at this time, I'd like to ask the staff members in attendance here to stand and be recognized. Just one short, crazy year ago, we stood over there in a mostly empty auditorium filming a virtual commencement ceremony. I know at times Mrs. Aguilar looks back upon very fondly. She really wishes she was doing that again this year. But we had to do that one family at a time. And their commencement experience was much different. And my message last year to the class of 2020 and their families was a whole lot different. And I know that we're all so much grateful that today, in 2021, we're in such a much better place. So this year, I would like to take a few minutes to discuss these kids of today. These kids of today, a little bit of a cliche. We've all heard it. Probably some of us have even used that phrase. And the commentary that follows is usually not a testament to the positive attributes of American teenagers. The negative opinion shared after a phrase like "these kids of today" may reference anything from poor driving habits, we've talked about that, maybe the choice of music, parents probably know what I mean, or maybe more recently their absolutely unexplainable infatuation with social media. As an educator, to be honest, I kind of take offense when somebody makes a general negative statement about kids like this. After all, a collection of graduates, this collection of graduates that's just before you today, is our school district's final product. We don't make cars, tires, glass, things like that. We produce graduating classes. Many people have worked their tails off to help these kids reach this point. Graduates are what schools are measured by, and we take great pride in the young men and women that receive diplomas from Antwerp High School. I guess these negative general statements and opinions don't sit well with me, because I get to see them on a day-to-day basis from a much broader perspective. I have a front row seat to observe the great things they do day in and day out. I've been in public education now since 1996. Since then, graduates of America's high schools have helped us through numerous challenges and tough times as a nation. For example, a bunch of American graduates figured out how to help us survive that Y2K scare when we were convinced that all computers around the globe would shut down at midnight on January 1st, 2000 because our tech systems just couldn't recognize a two-digit placeholder with 2 zeros in it. We survived that. A decade later, tens of thousands of young Americans stepped up in response to the attacks of 9/11 to fight the war on terror. From assisting with natural disasters all over this planet to now landing the rovers on the red planet, American graduates continue to lead. Most recently, our society has depended upon them to pull us out of a once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-century global pandemic. A high school experience in the 21st century is much different than what many of us remember. I'm not sure how many graduates sitting behind me could recite Shakespeare, repeat the Gettysburg Address from memory, tell us Octaviano's number off the top of their head, or locate a random nation like maybe Ecuador on a world map. But they don't need to, do they? It's right at the touch of the fingertips all the time. Information like that is always going to be right at their fingertips. But what today's graduates do, they possess an impressive set of skills that are applicable to the time that we now live in. And I personally believe we're in good hands as long as our schools continue to develop more graduates like these young men and women of today. Seniors of 2021, what do you need? I'm not sure you need summed it up, but we'll call it unique. Last 15 months has been for you. There have been many uncertain times since last March. You have faced uncertainty at every turn, and you have been forced to roll with the punches. I would like to personally thank you for the leadership role you assumed in our school this year. I'm sure at times you were sick of block schedules, face coverings, and lunch table partitions, but you helped us get through it together. You've worked hard to continue your in-person learning and for our students to be able to take part in the extracurriculars that they love. Now you've earned your diploma. Take some time and enjoy it. I'm going to take these last few moments to share a few thoughts and pieces of advice with you as you prepare to move forward in your lives. Remember that there is no substitute for hard work. Find an occupation that you have passion for, work like crazy, and make yourself irreplaceable. Give of yourself and treat others well. Believe me when I say that life moves incredibly fast, so take the time to enjoy each stage of it. Travel, see things, make experiences, and become a lifelong learner, and occasionally, put down that cell phone and look around you. And finally, remember and be proud of the fact that you'll always be an Antwerp Graduate. Congratulations, and God bless. Dr. Miller, at this time, I certify that the 51 members of this graduating class have met all requirements set forth by the Ohio Department of Education and the Antwerp Local School Board of Education, and I present them as qualified to receive their diplomas. At this time, Logan McKeever and Boesch, student council members, will come forward and give the class roll for the presentation of diplomas.
Madison Christine Bauer, attending Bowling Green State University, majoring in elementary education. Morgan Elizabeth Boesch, attending Purdue University, Fort Wayne, majoring in communications. Timothy Michael Hawley, enlisting in the United States Army. Ryland J. Brooks, attending Wright State University, majoring in cybersecurity. Heaven R. Bruce, attending Indiana University, Fort Wayne, majoring in nursing. Jonathan Randy Buer, attending Northwest State Community College, majoring in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician. Jordan Anthony Berkeley, attending the University of St. Francis, majoring in nursing. Lydia Grace Butzine, attending Heidelberg University, majoring in exercise science. Logan A. Castillo, entering workforce. Macy Lynn Contreras, attending the University of Toledo, majoring in social work. Haley Renee Craig, enlisting in the United States Marine Corps. Carmen Guadalupe Cruz, attending Purdue University, Fort Wayne, majoring in computer science. Haley Elizabeth Davis, attending Indiana Wesleyan University, majoring in social work. Katie Danielle Donna, attending Ohio Northern University, majoring in pharmacy. Mallory Elizabeth Earhart, attending Youngstown State University, majoring in musical theater. Jason Paul Geyer, attending the University of Northwestern Ohio, majoring in information technology. Hunter Alexander Grant, attending the University of Northwestern Ohio, majoring in information technology and network security. Dennis Rain Harder, attending Ivy Tech Community College, majoring in mechanical/electrical engineering. Aaron William Hawley, attending Ball State University, majoring in music media production. Dylan J. Hines, attending Bowling Green State University, majoring in construction management. Asa Gustavo David Hughes, entering the workforce. McKenna Elise Jones, entering the workforce. Brianna Hope Kieser, entering the workforce. Peyton H.T. Lang, entering the workforce. Zachary David Laughlin, entering the workforce. Rylan Nicole Loninger, attending the University of St. Francis, majoring in nursing. Austin Myron John Lisi, attending Lake Michigan College, majoring in sports training and business management. Alicia Marie Mack, attending Northwest State Community College, majoring in agribusiness.
Logan McKeever, attending the University of Toledo, majoring in mechanical engineering. Patrick S. Meyer, entering the workforce. Chester C. Miller, attending the University of Northwestern Ohio, majoring in systems administration. Laura Rosamund Miller, attending Northwest State Community College, majoring in nursing. Olivia Lynn Miller, attending Northwest State Community College, majoring in medical assisting. Eli Chadwick Molitor, attending the University of Northwestern Ohio, majoring in agriculture and industrial power. Kathryn Oberlin, attending the Ohio State University, majoring in city and regional planning and Spanish. Siera Octaviano, attending Heidelberg University, majoring in political science. David Gage Parton, entering the workforce. Gannon James Tetley, entering the workforce. Caitlin Marie Reed, entering the workforce. Molly Jo Reinhardt, attending Miami University, majoring in biology. Landon J. Reyes, attending Tiffin University, majoring in supply chain management. Madison Ruen, attending Trine University, majoring in chemical engineering. Emily Rochelle Sanders, attending Bowling Green State University, majoring in graphic design. Owen Michael Sheedy, entering the workforce. Brayden Lee Shaw, entering the workforce. Autumn Rose Smith, obtaining a cardiophlebotomy technician certification. Eric M. Thornell, attending The Ohio State University, majoring in electrical engineering. Joshua A. Timbrook, attending Northwest State Community College with an undecided major. Ryan Thomas Manvalera, attending Purdue University, Fort Wayne, majoring in secondary education. And now, will Macy Contreras, Austin Lucy, and Laura Miller join me in the symbol of graduation?
At this time, Siera Octaviano, Class Secretary of 2021, will provide our closing remarks.
Class of 2021, we have been through so much together, and now our journey is finally coming to a close. After spending 14 years together, we will go our separate ways and forge a new path, one that will carry us through the rest of our lives. This year has been full of uncertainty with COVID looming over us, but we have prevailed and had one heck of a senior year. Although we went through the year with many restrictions, we made it to the end and we're blessed to have so many of the events that make senior year so special. So here we are in the comfort of Antwerp High School, surrounded by classmates who have become close friends, as art students for the last time. Once we walk out these doors, we will venture away from the comfortable life we've grown so accustomed to and into the unknown. With the preparation from our parents, teachers, coaches, and other mentors, I know each and every one of us will achieve greatness in whatever faces us in the future. That being said, on behalf of the whole senior class, I would like to first and foremost thank the parents and guardians who have pushed us to be our best, who we wouldn't be here today without. Without all of your unconditional support and everything we have pursued throughout the years, we never would have made these amazing academic, musical, or athletic achievements. We thank you for pushing us to become the people we are today. Through your guidance, we have developed into the dedicated and driven young men and women sitting here today. Following this, I would like to thank both the teachers and coaches who have had such an impact on our lives during our time at Antwerp. Teachers who have pushed us to what we thought were our limits, proving that we can handle anything we put our minds to. There have definitely been times we despised the homework load, but overall, you have helped us to develop an extraordinary work ethic and more than prepared us for college. Coaches, you have helped to shape us into the people we are today. From my coaches, I've learned a great sense of responsibility, and I thank you all for spending so much time away from your families with us and helping us to form a second family. Without my coaches, I know I would not be the person that I am today. As we As you go through life, always remember where you came from. Remember the close-knit community and the relationships between your teams and, most importantly, your classmates. Remember the lifelong memories you have made in these halls. Remember that you can achieve greatness. So, class of 2021, I have one last question for you. Wasn't it great to be a part of it? It is now my honor to lead the class of 2021 in the traditional cap toss. You guys can stand up. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You're invited now to spend some time out in front of the school in a circle